Yes, yes, indeed. TTS, we on the road again. I really like these special episodes, when we go out in the dirt and, we dig around and, we find these little hidden gems.
Yes, sir.
On this special episode right here, we're on the road. We got our Staten Island boy, Trife D's himself, otherwise Trife the God. So how you doing today?
Yeah, it's Trife the God in the building. I'm great. I'm with my brothers. You know what I mean? It's good to be here with y'all. For real.
Really appreciate this opportunity, to take a dive down into your story of your life, of what you've been through, and and hopefully we can find some hidden gem in there that can shed light upon maybe somebody that's going through trials and tribulations that can get them successful situations.
No doubt, man, because that's all we got. All we got is hidden gems to come. It's like a diamond in the rough. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
It's that needle. Not a lot of people can find it.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So you were born and raised in Staten Island, New York, correct?
Yes.
What was your dreams as a kid? What do you recall in what fashion, what was your aim to go towards?
So before I get there and answer that question, I'm gonna just say, like, my family is originally from Brooklyn. Like, I'm the fifth child, right? So 2 of my brothers, 2 of my sisters. I was the fifth born, and I was the one that was born on Staten Island. So my parents came to Staten Island to get a better living. You know what I mean? This is in the 80s. I was born in 1980. So my parents moved out here to get a better living. You know what I mean? So Brooklyn was like wild, crazy or whatever. So that's why my parents moved out here to give me a better living.
So you had the dual raising, I guess you could say, correct? Because your family still had ties in Brooklyn?
Yeah, yes. And my mother, father, they was married until they passed away. But we'll get to that. But I was born and raised in Staten Island, Stapleton Projects. You know what I mean?
Okay, Stapleton. Where did you attend school at?
I went to Catholic school. You know what I mean? So it's like my parents always had the best for us. You know what I mean?
Okay, so they wanted to pull you from that situation.
Yeah, but because that's how they grew up. So however they grew up, they went to Catholic school and stuff like that. So they just trickled it down like to us and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
How does this all intertwine, going to a Catholic school and being raised in the Stapleton Projects?
Nah, because the Catholic school was right across the street from the projects.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't see how
Was it just basically a school that you attended, religiously or?
No, it wasn't religiously. It was just like, how charter schools are now?
Yeah, okay.
So you just want your kids to go to the best school.
Yeah.
So now it's public schools, charter schools. So it was back in those days, the Catholic school was like a charter school. I had to wear a uniform and tie. That's how I first learned how to tie a tie and everything. You know what I mean? I remember just first grade walking to school by myself. You know what I mean? Cause my older brothers got kicked out. Cause that's what I'm saying. They was from Brooklyn, you know what I mean? My older brothers, they wasn't, caught up with Staten Island, the slow how it was, or you know what I mean, at that time. So my brother got kicked out, but the school I went to was a good school. It was called Immaculate Conception, and it's right across the street from the projects. So a lot of people from the projects went to that school. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay, boom, you got kicked out of there?
Yeah.
You boomed it out of there?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So
was it like a judgmental situation for being raised in the projects? Because that's a pretty official.
Nah, I'm gonna keep it real. I used to get teased for that.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, of course. But at the same time, I was still I still had a reputable rep even at 7-6 years old. Cause my friends. I used to hang out with my friends. I knew how to play basketball. I knew how to play football. I knew how to do those little things at that age. I was still in the hood like that. You know what I mean? Plus, I had my brothers was older. You know what I mean? Even they was in the streets, but I was the youngest one. You know what I mean? But that's how I was. You know what I mean?
How would you consider yourself as a child? Would you consider yourself a leader, a follower, a bully? What would you consider yourself as?
Me, I was more of a thinker as a child. I'm still a thinker. I'm always going to be a thinker first. You know what I mean? And as a child, seeing growing up in my apartment, you know what I mean? I used to see a lot of things because my father, great father, You know what I mean? But he had a drinking problem and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So he would like, I remember just seeing things like he would like be real hard on my older brothers. Cause
tough
he
love.
and yeah, cause he was a worker. Like my father, like remember like what was that movie? Like Goodfellas or something.
Goodfellas.
And the father was like a bus driver, and he didn't want to see his son in the street like that. That's how my father was. My father was like a father like for the whole hood. You know what I mean? He worked housing. You know what I mean? So he like, oh, Mr. Bailey's coming. So niggas would hide they packs. You know what I mean? Until he go in the building and get upstairs, and now it's like everything's back to normal. Niggas back to selling drugs.
But the respect was there.
Hell yeah, like niggas had a lot of respect. Like you know what I mean. So my bringing up like was like I used to see like my father arguing with my brothers and things like that. So I didn't want to have that relationship with my father like that. So I just wanted to I wanted to be great. You know what I mean? Because he would always give me lectures, and then like at that age, I'm only like 10, 11, and he giving me these 2-hour lectures, and I don't want to hear this, but at the same time, now I'm grateful for those 2-hour lectures. Yeah.
That's bonding. That was knowledge.
Yeah. And I sort of respect that he got, and it just, you know, you see certain things and it just trickles down. My father, he wasn't like the type that'd go outside and shoot basketball with me and all that stuff and all that, but in the crib and everything, it was strong morals, like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So based upon that, I would go outside. Not to say that I wasn't involved. I was always involved with like activities and things like that, but my father would always salute, like always be there and things like that, because he had to work, because my mother didn't work. You know what I mean? He was the breadwinner. Yeah, he was the breadwinner, and my mom took it. Like even in my on my album Better Late Than Never, the first song Better Late Than Never, my pops paid all the bills. My mom stayed in the house and cleaned like she took care of the house. Like, you know, rituals.
I mean, back in that day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All those were products of the, you know what I mean? Pretty much what anybody in the 35 and up age would face. You know, it's these parents, you know, majority of them, the fathers provide, and the mothers, you know what I mean, take care of the kids and everything. And I can speak from that because I can simulate everything that you're talking about. You know, it's the dad always want to do the best, and you know what I mean, they're just a real hard lover though. You know, it's like push you to do the best and educate you the best way they feel, and sometimes it's not good enough.
And we had like see how all these kids got Googling. We had encyclopedias. I remember just like being in my house. We had Malcolm X on the Malcolm X pictures on the you know what I mean, on the wall. Malcolm X books, or like even John F. Kennedy statues. It's like it was crazy in the crib. Like, but that was my father. He was like a learner. Like he would always wanted to teach. Like, you know what I mean? If he wasn't working housing, he probably would have been a teacher. Like, you know what I mean? Because he was real stern.
Some of those names that you mentioned are some of the best knowledgeable people upon the face of the earth that was around. You know what I
mean? And I don't even like. And this is not to be funny. I don't even think he ever read those type. Even read the books, but he just wanted the books in the crib for us as kids, like for us to see it and like, all right. And he'll through those lectures, he'd be like, look at this book. I want you to read this book. He'll point it out, like read this book in a week on this certain chapter and everything. You come back to me and tell me what you learned. You know what I mean?
He learned through you guys reading.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, my father, rest in peace. He was a dope guy, man. For real.
Peace. Like I said, not a lot of people have the opportunity to have that.
No doubt.
It's a lot of separation, division. You know, I'm sure back then there was a lot of epidemics of drugs. You know,
definitely, and you saw it all. You know what I mean? Growing up in the P's, you saw a lot of things. Like, but like me being like a young at that time, you didn't really know what it was. Like, you know what I mean? You'll see the drug dealers looking fly and stuff like that. You ain't really know how they was getting their money until you really got to that point of age, like, oh shit.
Either getting tested or you really observing.
Cause like me, when I was growing up, God bless the dead, there was this guy in the hood. His name was Sax. You know what I mean? Sal's rest in peace. You know what I mean? When I would come out my building, he was a hustler. Like, you know what I mean? So he would come out when I came out the building going to school, he'd be like, yo, what you need? Because he would see me. I would always go. I'm talking like from since I was little, going to Catholic school, junior high school, high school. He would always be like, yo, breakfast. I'm gonna buy you breakfast, because he was always out there every morning. But he would see me always going to school. So he was like, yo, here, boom, whatever you need, boom, 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 boom. It wasn't like he was trying to force, like, yo, let me give you a pack. It wasn't like that, because he saw something in me to where it was like, nah, you keep going to school, Theo. You know what I mean? That was before I was called Trife. Yo, Theo, yeah, no matter. Mr. Bailey's son. Keep going to school. Boom, boom, boom. And he would like buy me shit. Yo, here go $5. Because $5 get you an egg and cheese, little donut.
Couple
you know
snacks
what I mean?
back there.
Yeah. Yo, every morning. Go to school. Like there was one quote Nas said, like, I don't know, I forgot what album it was, but he said, the older niggas be like, yo, shorty, go upstairs before, cause we about to be shooting. You know what I mean?
Fair one.
My nigga Sax, he was like one of those people, like, yo, go upstairs, little nigga, cause it's about to be real. You out here too late, like stuff like that.
So, what was your favorite subject as a kid growing up?
I would say, honestly, it was like grammar, like, you know. Grammar, spelling. I was good at math a little bit. I was just smart, like. So
you start to articulate your skills very.
Yeah,
young.
I was very articulate. You know what I mean? Because, and I get that articulate. It started from the household, but me being in that school. So when I graduated 8th grade, and then advanced to high school, I was in AP classes. That's like advanced shit, but. I was like, I went to Catholic school and I was in them grades for that long. I like when I got to high school, I wanted my freedom. I'm like, yo, I don't want to be in Catholic. Like now I see mad girls, everybody fly, all this, boom. So now I'm in these AP classes. I'm like, yo, this man, I want out. Yeah, I wanted to let my nuts hang or something, like, you know what I mean? So I had dropped out. I didn't drop out. I dropped out the AP classes because it felt like everybody was nerds in there. Like, I'm just keeping it honest. Like, you know what I mean? And it was just too much work. It felt like it was too much work. But being in hindsight, I know I could have did it, but I just wanted to, like, you know, be free, because I was always stuck for all that time, uniforms in, and now, like, fresh, everything. You know what I mean?
I mean, let's be honest. Nothing against those people, you know, because they're highly educated people.
Nah, because I was
those teachers, they expect.
Yeah.
This, you know what I mean? Yeah. You got to do this, you got to do that. You know what I mean? And they expect no questions from these kids.
Because the school I went to, I didn't go to my zone school. My zone school was Newt. I went to Curtis. Like, and that's where they had the AP classes. And that's where I wanted to go, because God bless my cousin, you know what I mean? He passed away and he went to Curtis. Like, so I wanted to go to Curtis to live his legacy, like, you know what I mean? So I went over there. I was in the AP classes and everything was good. But you know, I was in them AP classes and I didn't see this. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm in here. I was like the only black nigga in there. Like, you know what I mean? Not to sound like I'm like ignorant or whatever, but
there was no other color in there.
Yeah, and at that age, like, you know what I mean? I just wanted to be around.
Did you feel awkward?
Not so much, but it just was like, I wasn't around like what I knew.
What you grew up as.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was it. Like,
nothing wrong with that.
And at the same time, now that I look back in hindsight, I wish I'd have stayed in there and went advanced on everybody, because I'm advanced right now. Like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, your lyrics alone, you know what I mean, defines that clearly.
Exactly. So,
you know what I mean? Not a lot of people can connect those dots the way that does, you know what I mean? And then revert it back and...
Yeah, exactly. Yup.
So, let's speed things up now. About high school, were you sports inclined at all?
Exactly. Yup. I was very, like, all right, so let's bring it back a little bit more. Like, remember I said my father wasn't, like, he didn't take me to the park, shoot ball and all that, but I was around a lot of people, like, I'm with kids in the projects. So we had the basketball courts and Eddie Watkins. Shout out to Eddie Watkins. Rest in peace to Eddie Watkins. So Eddie Watkins was like a basketball connoisseur in the hood, like, you know what I mean? We would go, even NYCHA, I don't know if you know about that, but I'm gonna break it down for the listeners. NYCHA is New York City Housing Authority. That's the projects in New York. Any projects in New York, NYCHA, that's New York City Housing Authority. So we, as kids, we would go to the center in the projects. And the center would have like basketball teams.
So basically like the YMCA of that.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. So we would go to the center, and then we would our team was Stapleton team. You know what I mean? So we would go to different boroughs, Bronx, Left Rack, the Kenny Anderson League, Pelham Fritz, all these places. So that's how I was basketball. I was basketball like that. Even all my friends though. All my friends. It's like those good times too. Some niggas made it and some niggas didn't. But yeah, I was basketball was my thing.
Did you see yourself trying to go anywhere with it, or was it just you're good at it right now and you're just riding the wave right there?
Yeah, I really did want to go there with it. You know what I mean?
Where did you lose your focus on that?
When they started cutting the funds, like, you know what I mean? Because that's like now it's like 15, high school. All right, let me say, like, one time, like, I'm in high school trying out for the basketball team, and I go to speak. I try out for the basketball team, and the coach, he was like a dean, assistant principal, he calls me into his office. And he's like, oh, I didn't, like, you know what I mean? I didn't know you was this smart. Because, like, he wanted me to play on the team. But he's like, I didn't know you was this smart. Like, you know what I mean? So that turned me off. So, you know what I mean? I didn't want to play, like, because he thought I was, like, fucking little knucklehead or something.
You thought you from the projects?
Yeah, but at the same time, he thought I was a knucklehead. So that turned me off. And, you know, that's why I didn't play. But in hindsight, I'm thinking, like, I should have played to show him that I ain't just no average kid, like, you know?
It seems up until that point of your life, you know, you had a lot of resentment from your decisions that you did or didn't do, you know, it's...
Nah, I'm just saying that because, like, you know, you travel these paths through life, right? And I'm only saying that because where I'm at now, I'm good, like, but at the same time, who knows where I would have been at right now.
If the shoe went on the other side.
Yeah, so I'm just giving you both sides of the spectrum.
Respect.
You know what I mean? So that's all I'm doing, like, but all reality, I'm great. You know what I mean? I'm great.
So where did you really start engaging in your music? I mean, it was about, what, 1999? I mean, prior to then, but that's when it really fucking took off, right? But when, prior to then, did you really said, you know what, I'm going to entertain music?
It was just, gotta think, like, cause I used to always just jot stuff down, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you young, writing shit. But I would say the rhymes to my partners, my friends. And they be like, yo, you nice, son, you nice. I'm like, I ain't nice, you know what I mean? I ain't really saying, first of all, I'm just in the crib tucking it to myself, like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, yo, I just wrote this, listen to this. And it was just like, I'll probably just like, boom, write it. And I'll say it to one of my friends, like, yo, boom, 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 boom. Whatever. And then we'll get around in the pack, and he'd be like, yo, Trife, say that shit you was saying that to me the other night. And now I say it to everybody, and they're like, oh, shit. Like, you know what I mean? So this guy would be like around like 12, like, I was probably 12, like 12 years old. And I started writing like that, like, cause watching Video Music Box and things like that. Plus my sister, she's older than me. She was in the Dougie Fresh ages, so I used to see her with pictures with Dougie Fresh, Dana Dane, Slick Rick, you know what I mean, on the wall and all that. So I got captivated like that.
Do you think, you said about age 12 that happened, so do you think a lot of it had to do with, you know what I mean, your affiliates that you are with now, you know what I mean, the Wu-Tang? that you seen that in the Stapleton projects? I mean, because we all know the history there. Like, come on, man. Like,
all right. So if you saying like, yeah, around like 12, because what Wu came out in '93, and you know,
I know they got chewed by a couple years. No
nah,
disrespect.
Ghost lived in the next building though. You know what I mean? I lived in 29 Warren
What's the age
Street,
difference between you guys?
10 years. But as I said, my brothers is of age and all that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
I mean,
So,
the projects, obviously, you guys is
yeah,
together.
so it's like when he was running around, my brothers, sisters, all that shit, running around, whatever. So around like, and plus, let me say this. His younger brother, Ghost's younger brother, Bean, is my best friend. You know what I mean? So that was a lot of things that tied it in too. And Ghost's mother and my mother was cool like that. You know what I mean? So we would always, me being Bean's friend, I would always go to Miss Diane's house and, you know what I mean, see Ghost doing his 1-2, 1-2, you know what I mean? And then with like Protect Your Neck, I remember Protect Your Neck, they did the video, that part in Stapleton and all that. It was like me seeing that at that age, I'm like, oh, I didn't know Ghost was doing that. Niggas called Ghost Dougie back then. His name was Doug. You know what I mean? So I didn't know. I only knew Ghost as Dougie. So when I saw him doing that, I'm like, oh, this is what he was doing. Like, you know what I mean? And that shit was dope. Like, for real. That shit was dope. It made me, I looked at it as like, all right, that's my way in on a music tip. You know what I mean? So I would always, now, after my people told me I was nice, I'm like, yo, Bean, Ghost is on. I'm like, yo, Bean, yo, let this nigga know I'm nice. Yo, and Bean was like, yo, I'm gonna let him know. Boom, boom. I remember one time the BET Rap City came through the park. Boom, I was working in PS14, you know what I mean? And I remember that I went in there, spit my rhymes. He was like, yo, I'm gonna come back and get you. And that's what it was. He stayed true to his word.
That's unique. That's a unique bond, and it's a blessing how that thing played out. You know.
Yeah, that's why he's my brother and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And you know, I admired. I was one of those kids that admired all the older guys. Like, you know what I mean? But I could see like at a certain age, I could see, all right, now I'm getting older now. All right, 15, 16, 17. I start seeing, all right, these are what these fellas are doing. Like, and at that time, I could see that, you know what I mean? Ghost ain't the same Dougie no more. Now he's legit. Like, you know what I mean? So now I want to be a part of that. You know what I mean? Well,
I mean, that was a big crowd back then. I remember, you know, I mean, just hearing stories alone about how they used to pull up to the concerts.
yeah.
How many cars deep? You know what I mean? Just the mob alone.
Yeah, and it was like, there was sometimes I used to pull up, me and my whole crew, TMF. We wasn't even supposed to be in those environments at that age, like, you know what I mean? But we was just them kids that was excited to like be around hip hop and to see like people from where we grew up, and we see these people every day, and to make it like that, hear them on the radio. I remember one time, Asbury Park, they had a show in Asbury Park, and Ghost got everybody a limo from the hood. Like, first of all, we was probably like 20 deep in that limo. The limo could have tipped over.
Shocks is
You know what I mean,
leaking.
Shaq? The limo could have tipped over and everything, but we still, like, you know what I mean? It was like hood support, and
Had fun.
yeah, just to see someone make it out, man, is important. Like, you know what I mean? Even to this day, if I don't care what you do, if you was a lawyer or if you was superintendent on you, whatever, for somebody to see you make it out, it gives the youngins hope. You know what I mean? And that's why it's good that you have like certain organizations come through and show the youth that there's a way out. You know what I mean? Because they're not going to show you that. They don't want to show you that. So that's why, like, me as an older guard now, we got to come in there and like speak on certain things. Like, all right, it got to be better.
Really let it be known that this is the knowledge that you guys are lacking.
Exactly. Yep.
That's a lot of people don't get that enforced on them. You know,
They don't.
What discourages me is now when I see people that just obtain and hear all this nonsense and they just take it for what it is. They don't ever do their own research and dig it into whatever. You know what I mean? oh, the sky's blue. No, it's gray. Okay, well, why is it gray? You know what I mean? People don't use the brain that was created, that they were born with, you know what I mean, for a beneficial reason. You know, it's just, I say they're slugs. You know, it's like they're just sliding by.
Nah, cause like even when we're raising your kids now, like right, you can't raise the kids the way our parents raised us. Like, you know what I mean? Cause it's a different time. You know.
Yep.
So it's like you gotta raise your kids in a different way, in a different time. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Absolutely.
like it's different. Like, so, you know how we was growing up. It's not the same way these kids are growing up now.
No.
So you gotta teach them in a different way, but still have the morals and the things that your parents taught you. You know what I mean?
I think the biggest struggle that we face nowadays is, you know what I mean, like, these kids having the kids. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's just like they're leaving, like, they don't know what to do.
And I could say that comes from like the generation before to like instill like certain things on a younger generation, like, you know, because like when we was growing up, we was trying to get out. You know what I mean? Trying to get out, and once we made it out, it just felt like we didn't like really go back and teach certain morals, like growing up in the hood like that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's, you know what I mean, a lot of people, you know what I mean, they hold that close of what they've learned and gained, you know what I mean? And it's we got to share that, you know. It's the humans were created to learn from each other. That's why they're placed in certain parts of the world. You know what I mean? That's why each human has different features in their body. You know, because we all have different duties that simulate along the same things.
No doubt.
You know, we're all here to teach each other and learn from each other. Not one person knows everything. You know.
No doubt.
So with your back to your music thing.
All right.
let's entertain that a little bit.
Nah, 'cause
what is your favoriteest drop before we even go any further?
My favorite is what?
Your favoriteest drop that you ever laid out there, anything, on whether it's album or single. Wait, whatever your favorite?
My favorite song I did?
Yes.
I don't know. There's a lot of songs.
Most meaningful.
Like the one 80 was playing earlier, Vanilla Daiquiri's Part 1. It was a dope song. So, cause you know why? It was like me rapping and I'm like a man and I'm saying some grown man stuff in the record. And around that time, there was a lot of things going on. Cause if you ever listen to the song. It's called Vanilla Daiquiris. He sent me the beat and it was just called Vanilla Daiquiris. Nothing I said in the song had nothing to do with Vanilla Daiquiris, you know what I mean? But the way the beat made me speak, because I started to go on one plane, but I think like after like the 8th bar, I just went left and talked about some real stuff. You know what I mean? So Vanilla Daiquiris is a great song. I could talk about songs I've been featured on, like my first song I've been on Ghost Joint, Pop Your Collar. That was a great song, you know what I mean? Because that was the time when that was in 2001. That's when Ghost was working on, and that's when he came back and got me. I remember I was working for UPS. I was 21 years old. And I get the call. He calling. We ain't had no cell phones like that. He called my mother's house, and you know, Theo, the phone. When I get on the phone, it's free. Like, yo, you ready? I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. All right, tomorrow, pack up your stuff. Tomorrow, you gonna get on this plane, this, that, boom, boom. Never been on an airplane in my life. You know what I mean? And I was scared. You know what I mean? But I'm like, if they made it down there, I'm making it down there too. So flew down there, and that's when we did the Bulletproof Wallets album. And I remember like when I first got to the studio, they picked me up from the airport, and like I see Ghost, he's sitting in the chair at the big board. Yo, what up, little nigga? And he got some red sneakers on. And the song that was playing was The Watch. You know what I mean? the watch was on repeat, like, yo, Ghost, you was a funny nigga. Looking in the radio, all you hear is X and Jigga. Haha, you vexed, nigga. So I guess that's where it stopped, to where like they had to keep writing, he had to keep writing. But when I came in there and I'm hearing it was off the Barry White beat, I'm like, oh shit, this is hard. He said, what you want, nigga? I said, I want some Hennessy. He sent the runner to go get the joint, and it was on after that. All that. So I was on like, how many songs? I was on like 4 songs on that album. And the Jukes was one of those songs. The Jukes, that was like one of the joints, the first joints I laid down when I got to Miami. We was in a Hit Factory too.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was like.
So do you got yourself down there, you know what I mean, and everything, or they help with that?
Nah, he put me on the flight.
And you jumped on that and got it?
What? I'm
out of here. That was from UPS?
Yeah, I took a what's how you do that? I need a 90-day was how you do that? Leave of absence.
Oh, leave of absence, yes.
Yeah, I was like, yo, I need a leave of absence, and you know what I mean? They was like, you good? All right, 90 days. Boom. Do that. Boom. But during that time, after that, it was after we was doing that. It was around the time we doing the album. But Ghost and Ray had the Ragu tour, so we still had to go on tour, record on tour. So we would be in certain states going to the studio, still recording the album. So I'm like, damn, this shit is popping. Like, you know what I mean? I never seen nothing like this. So I'm like, I'm just in awe, and amazed, and like humble at the same time. But I'm only 21. I'm out there doing what it, you know what I mean? I don't want to say it how I want to say it, but like we out there just living life. Like, you know what I mean?
Experiencing each opportunity.
Yeah, and it was just so dope. So yeah, that was one of those songs too. Like, and ever since then it was just riding. I was just riding, like, you know what I mean. So then even when I went back to work, so it was a little. I would get off tour. So this is like from June, September. I go back. I get back home. We get back home off the road. I go back to the job. I asked for another leave of absence. They was like, nah, I can't do it. We can't do it. So I'm like, yo, fuck it. I quit. And I quit. And then it was just on after that. You know what I mean?
Straight full throttle.
Yeah, full throttle. Like, yeah, it was full throttle. Back to back. You know what I mean? I bought my first car. You know what I mean? Checks was fat. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Checks was real fat. That's the first time I ever seen like a $10,000 check. Like, you know what I mean?
That's back then too.
Yeah, and I'm 21 years old. Like, and doing off the shit that you love to do, and it's easy. Like, especially like, man, writing this shit, whatever, nigga.
The way your brain works, you know what I mean? Just
coming home with that. Then you got niggas hating in the hood. Yo, don't forget about me. Nigga, I ain't gonna forget about you. Like, nigga, don't forget what it took me to get here, nigga. Like, you know what I mean? Well, I remember coming home to hate like that. Like, yo, you know what I mean? I remember Ghost gave me the rollie. I still got the rollie to this day. I don't wear it like that, though, because I'm not really fascinated with the shit like that. But, you know, I still got the shit. But I remember, like, rocking the rollie and niggas seeing me rocking the rollie. Yo, don't forget about us. Like, dude, I'm like, yo, man. Nigga, I don't even try to forget. I'm not even trying to forget about my family, nigga, first. You know what I mean?
So being that you talk about present day not really rocking it like that, what do you do nowadays? What do you do today?
What you mean?
What do you do for a living?
You know, I work hard, man.
Occupation straight rapper?
That, and you know, I'm an entrepreneur, man.
Okay, so you gotta make ends meet no matter what.
Exactly, man. I'm a hustler, yo. Absolutely. I get it the way I get it. You know what I mean? And I got a likable character. So, you know, it's easy for me to do whatever I put my brain to. You know what I mean?
I definitely can see that.
Yeah.
Definitely can see that.
For real, Shaq. For real.
So what type of music you working on right now?
I'm just working on, I got a few things working on, like working on Project Pope 3. You know what I mean? That's featuring Rockness Monster. I got Sky Zoo on there. I got Graph on there. I got my TMF brothers on there. I got L Biz. Shout out to L Biz. He from Buffalo. Shout out to L Biz. 80s producing a lot of the tracks on there. We get lounge mode, the boomer on there. You know what I mean?
Couple of those booms, one,
Yeah,
two.
stocks. Yeah, I got a couple of projects. I got a project with me and Crime Life, my brother from TMF. I got a project with him. I got a joint with Royal Flush too. You know what I mean? That's tucked in there. I got some good things going on. You know what I mean?
Who's been your biggest idol your whole career, besides yourself?
My brother, Starkey Loved One. You know what I mean? Just to see him like come from where I came from, like the whole clan, I should say, but importantly, like you know, my brother, like you know what I mean. He put me into this. He put me into this world, like whether it would happen or not. You know what I mean. He brought me into this world, and I'm forever grateful to him for taking a shot on me, like you know what I mean, to give me that shot, like you know what I mean, because I was just a little kid, but he saw something in me, and he was like, yo, and I learned a lot too. I learned a lot. Like I knew how to put like a song together and do, but I didn't know how to format it in a certain way. 16, hook, 16, or you just do a whole joint and here go your skit, here go this, here go that, and make sure you pick out the best beat and talk about whatever you want to speak about it, and follow your train of thought. You know what I mean?
Don't be scatterbrained all over the place.
Yeah, don't be afraid to speak your mind. Like, and that comes from his little brother Bean, cause there was times we be in the studio and he'd be like, yo, Trife, he helped me write rhymes. You know what I mean? It's like how Nas would say Jungle helped him say certain shit, like he didn't write the rhyme, but he told you to do certain shit.
Could have been an idea that you went out.
Exactly,
that, you know
yeah.
what I mean? This vocabulary is, you know what I mean, more dominant.
Yeah. So it's like my favorite rapper is Nas, but as far as influential, you know what I mean? It gotta be my big bro, like, you know what I mean? Cause he took me across the world, you know? And it's like I'm forever grateful for that. For real. I'm talking like Japan, China, like, and it's still going on to this day. So it's like, it's just a phone call away. Yo, fam, boom, you ready? All right, I got you. Boom, we out. Boom, and that's it. Wow.
What would you say your biggest obstacle been in your whole life?
My biggest obstacle?
And that's being blunt about everything. What's your biggest hurdle that you ever had to overcome, or overcoming still, or anything?
It's just like me just being consistent. You know what I mean?
What do you mean being consistent? Not
just being consistent with everything I do. Like, you know what I mean? Because, like, consistency is key. Repetitive, like, if I go into the gym and I just keep shooting that shot, boom, it's going to get better. So now, if I keep shooting the shot and then I'll be like, man, my shot ain't going in no more, man. So I leave. Yeah, like, if that's a, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I would say consistency. I got it in me to do it, like, you know what I mean? But it's like, sometimes I get deterred by, like, certain things. Like, there's certain things that deter me. Like, it could be a family issue. You know what I mean? Like, even a big one was when my parents passed away. Like, you know, it deterred me. I didn't want to do nothing. You know what I mean? I didn't want to do nothing for it.
Ended your whole life.
Nah, it ain't.
Well, I mean, at the time.
Yeah.
I'm not like I said, you know what I mean?
But it was just like, I didn't know why I didn't know what to do, because that's all I knew at that time.
Especially when all they wanted was the best for you.
Yeah, so I didn't know what to do after that, because that's all I knew at the time. But as I started getting older, now I got children and stuff, I'm like, nah, like, you know what I mean? Shake that off, and because now you got to look at what mommy and daddy, they built you up like this. They put you in this position to do this, like, you know what I mean? Because you would never be here without them.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just consistency. For real.
So would you say your kids are a big factor now of you being consistent?
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm consistency, like, as far as being a father, yeah.
No, I'm talking about, like, entertaining your dreams and your breadwinnings and everything.
Of course, because that's what you do it for.
You know,
But-
staying focused.
Yes. And I do it like, cause they always say put your kids first, right? And that's a true statement, right? But at the same time, you gotta put yourself first too, because if you not right, how your kids gonna be right? And this
totally agree
goes as far as like, not just like money wise, you know what I mean? Because money is like, we all get money and stuff like that. But I'm just talking like
Do you know yourself?
Yeah, mentally. You know what I mean? Mentally, you have to be proper. You gotta be able to face everything. There's obstacles, there's hurdles, there's the devil be fighting you every day. So you gotta know how to really be strong. So it's like a mental, like it's like checkers. Like I'm not checkers, it's like chess. It's mental. You gotta know, you gotta really be mentally fit for everything that's going on.
You know, there's that saying that the devil opened 99 doors just to get you that one bad one. You know, and a lot of people fail to realize that. You can feel like you're on top of the world. You know, you're succeeding, you're doing this. You know, you got your pockets full. Everybody's eating around your table. You know, just to get tricked. You know, a lot of people don't understand that format of life.
No doubt.
You know, that's the off balance. You know, if you don't, the yin and the yang.
See, but like, see how we speaking right now, and I'm gonna keep it real. Like, it's like this is good for my mentality right now. You know what I mean? To like, it's like I'm speaking to a therapist right now. Nah, real shit. You know what I mean? Because like,
I mean, it's not the purpose of it, but
but like,
I appreciate, you know what I mean?
But it's like you gotta look at it like, if we talking like, it make you feel good to let shit out.
It's a healing process.
Regular, like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't speak to my fucking nigga like that, because my nigga always gonna see me happy, like, yo,
But
you know what I mean? Now that we having a grown man conversation and you touching these certain topics, it's like a release. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why, like, you gotta be good at the mental. Your mental, the mental is everything, man. Because if the brain ain't right, the body ain't gonna be right. You know how they say, go for the head, it'll drop the body. You know what I mean?
That's the tip. That's the pyramid. You know what I mean? You gotta treat it well. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna lead you through this life.
Yeah, man. So it's like, yo, man, this is like therapy for me right now.
I mean, as well as for me, as well as the viewers. You know what I mean? That's the whole purpose of this. Because we've been through a lot of things that a lot of us can't talk about. A lot of us don't talk about.
Yeah.
So that was the whole purpose of creating this podcast, and I guess we are targeting it, you know. But back to your music thing, real quick. What was your biggest song and accomplishments, and how did that arise? How did that come about?
My biggest song probably like was the Ooh-Wee joint. Me, Nate Dogg, Ghost, and Saigon. It was a Mark Ronson joint. That's the one. That's like on my publishing. That's one of the songs I get paid for a lot. Cause that shit used to be on everything. That shit was on the Will Smith movie, Honey. It was in Honey. It was on Hitch. So, and at the end of the day, you know how you see the credits going down?
Absolutely.
I remember pausing and seeing my name. Like, you know how it goes off and you see.
So that's not a music credit,
huh?
That's a music credit you're talking about?
Yeah.
What was that like, seeing that your work?
First of all, it's like my baby mother see that, you know what I mean? Like, she would hear my songs and like, oh, that's daddy. Like, you know what I mean? She telling my, you know what I mean, my daughter, my son, everything like that, you know what I mean? Just hear my voice. Even my kids, they would hear my voice and know that was me. You know what I mean? That shit is dope.
I mean, that's accomplishment is within itself right
But
there.
like, I'm gonna tell you how that started, right? It goes back to where we was in Miami. This around the time like we was working on the Pretty Tony album. You know what I mean? And you know, Ghost was getting mad features and stuff like that. So he would be like, yo, Trife, let's go ahead and write these features before the album's always gonna be right there. We gotta get these features out the way. So boom, he wrote his verse and he would always like plug me in. Like, they wasn't asking for Trife, you know what I mean? But like, he was so good to me, like, yo, Trife, just say like a little 8 bars on here, and if they rock with it, they rock with it. And that's how I got on that song. You know what I mean? He stronged on me on that song. You know what I mean? Word. Cause I remember we wrote that in the Roney Palace right there in Miami. You know what I mean? And then we shot that video in LA. You couldn't tell me nothing after that. You know what I mean? Came back to the hood. And we shot the video. Dame Dash is in the video, everything, you know what I mean? Came back home. I came home with mad clothes, right? Boom. Came in abundance, like, you know what I mean? And me being who I am, like, whatever I get, I always
give back.
I always like, I got, cause it was like everybody had his shit wardrobe, Trife, Nate Dogg, R.I.P. He was on the song too. Everybody had their own wardrobe. I had my own stuff. So boom, everything when I came back to the hood, here you go, boom, 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 like that. So yeah, that was one of the biggest accomplishments. That was like one of the biggest songs I was ever on, like, word up. Cause even to this day, like when we go to Europe or something, like they'll play those songs and I'll do that joint and they know that. Word.
So it's a hit.
Yeah, that was a hit.
That's definitely a hit.
A super hit. Word.
I mean, let's take it back a little bit because I know you got a little history with this man right here that I'm about to mention. Mm-hmm. M80.
Oh, that's my guy.
Genuine person. I mean, yeah, obviously he helps with the show tremendously. He goes above and beyond, you know what I mean, his Call of Duty. How did you meet him and what's your guys' relationship like?
Well, first of all, I met 80, I don't even remember the year, but I remember it was a pool party in Atlantic City. Fabulous. It was a Puff Daddy pool party. And we had to get in there. He just slipped me a CD. You know what I mean? That's like back in the day, CD or whatever. And it was just nothing but heat on there. You know what I mean? It took me a while to get to it. You know what I mean? Because you got to realize niggas was giving CDs.
You're getting bombarded.
Yeah, bombarded with CDs. But after a while, I sat down and went through the whole CD, and that's how I met him. And it took me even after that to even mess with the beats. But when I did mess with the beats, we connected like that into like to where we are now. You know what I mean? Word. For real.
I mean, that's a beautiful man right there. That guy, you know, I mean, he's a genuine person inside and out. I know he'll give us his jacket off his back.
Yeah, cause it like, yo, he mixed my whole album. You know what I mean? And he's hungry, like, you know what I mean? Very hungry, and
I'd personally say he's one of, and I hate to say this, one of the most underrated, you know what I mean, producers.
Nah, you can't hate to say that. Because
I mean, it's a proof of fact. I mean, people walk all over him, and it's a shame. You know, what I mean, this man is he's stomping that pavement, and he producing some fire beats.
Nah, I would say this, like, people don't walk over him, but
not in a negative.
Hold on, no,
industry.
But listen, no, you can't say that. You gotta know your worth, and I tell him this shit all the time too. You know what I mean? The things you do for me, bro, I'ma do everything reciprocal, like, you know what I mean, even more.
Vice versa.
But at the same time, my nigga, that's like me being with Starks, right? Starks put me on all that, boom, 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 and now I'm doing mad crazy shit for other niggas, like boom, boom. But at the same time, all right, it could be a pass off or a trade off and all that. But at the same time, if we ain't got a connection like that, nigga, you gotta pay, bro. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And know your worth. I don't care if your worth was like $500 or $15,000. If that's your worth and that's your price, stick to your price. You understand what I'm saying? I don't care what you do. Stick to your price. If you can't meet your price, you can't meet my price, all right, I'll work, what's your budget? Let's work on it like that. But this is my price. If you want real solidified hip hop and strong mixing and everything like that, or if you want the illest verse you ever heard in your life, nigga, this is my price. If you can't do it, all right, cool, move on. You know what I mean? And I tell him that also.
I mean, that was a beautiful gem you just dropped right there.
Yeah.
Not even just pertaining to him. That's in life in general.
That's what everything, like, you know what I mean? Because at the same time, now it's like, all right, I'm Trife the God. My shit is nice. Now, even with Sky Zoo, right? You know what I mean? I was on tour with him. You know what I mean? Coming up, him and Teray, all that. Boom. You know what I mean? We gonna work together, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, yo, Sky Zoo, I'll give you this. Boom. He was like, nah, nigga, we came up the same way, nigga. You know what I mean? We in the same chamber. Boom, I got you. You know what I mean?
That's realism, you know, at its best.
Yeah. But yeah, that's how I met 80. We was at the pool party. You know what I mean? My man couldn't get in because he had. It's like, yo, we was at the pool party, but you couldn't get in with shorts. So my man, you know what I mean? My man, this is a funny story. My man pulled his shorts all the way down to his sneakers, tied the shorts at the end so it looked like pants, and he got in like that. Like, it was mad funny, you know. You know what I mean? Cause
80, is that true?
It didn't make no sense to me. Like, how you can't get in the pool party and you need to have.
You gotta have sweatpants to get in.
Yeah,
you gotta have jeans to get in the water.
And yo, his name is Smits. Yo, Smits jumped right. As soon as he got in there, he jumped right in the pool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With his sneakers on, word is born. Yo, Boomer, with his sneakers on, everything.
That's my yes.
Yeah.
He's ready to have a good time no matter what.
So Eli was like, yo, look at your man. Look at your man. I turned around. He in the pool. His Adidas on. He had his Adidas on and everything. And by the time, yo, real talk, by the time we left that night, because it was like, you know what I mean? We ain't leave until the next day. The nigga, he was dry. You know what I mean? Sneakers, everything, dry.
How you go in the water and you go get dry in the nighttime?
Yeah.
They say the dew causes the most
And
of the night.
And we won that night. You know what I mean? Rondo was there. We took pictures with the basketball player Rondo. It was a good night that night. Word. Nice. But yeah, that's the night I met 80, and I didn't use that CD until a couple of years later. And that's how I did my album. Like most of the joints, most of the, like a couple of song beats that was on the CD helped me shape my album for the Project Pope. You know what I mean? Word. Project Pope 2.
Shout out M80.
Yeah, come on. He's deadly, and like, you know what I mean? I took to him, you know what I mean? Because he took to me, like, you know what I mean? I saw something in him, he saw something in me. And it's still to this day, he's my brother, like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Much respect.
And you my
Both
brother
of
too, Shaq, you know what I mean? Because I first met you up in Buffalo at the shows and everything like that, and like, I appreciate you for bringing me out there, like, you know what I mean? Real shit.
I mean, bro, that struggle, it was a fun experience for myself.
Yeah.
You know, I opened a lot of networking doors that, you know what I mean, I never even thought would be possible.
It's a learning process, you know what I mean? Because like nobody never knows until you get to that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Once you get to that point and you see how the love is there, like you never know who's gonna love you, man.
No, that's
but
a
if
fact.
you're a genuine person, it's like everybody gravitates to love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, all right, hate. You want to stay away from that. Oh, them niggas hating over there. I ain't fucking with them niggas. Now, if niggas showing mad love, yo,
They want to be
that's
part.
that's how you start networking, cause the love is there.
Yeah.
You can't network with hate, cause you don't want to be a part of that.
Only thing I suggest in that case, you know what I mean? Yes, it is good to share love, but also keep your hindsight very, very keen, because
Exactly.
you never know who's the wolf in that sheep clothing, because we live in a corrupt world. Not everybody's like that. You know, I mean, obviously, look at the room I'm sitting with. You know what I mean? You, boom, you know what I mean? 80, like.
But you know what it is, too, not to cut you off? It's like, it's so crazy because the world is so negative to these days. Like, that's all you see now.
But don't let that scare you to be enjoying.
No.
Don't let that scare you to enjoy life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. But at the same time, that's what, it's like, yo, a lie is more better than the truth. You know what I mean? Because you could entertain a lie. The truth is always going to be the same every time you speak it.
It's better to ask for forgiveness than it is for permission.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
It's very similar to that comment.
So, yeah,
you know?
yo, let me tell you something, man. I feel good to be in the presence with you. You know what I mean? Because I saw, like, how your growth. You know what I mean? Like how you said, I'm just starting out and, like, you know what I mean? Look how you here right now, your podcast. You built the show. You doing a whole lot, brother. You know what I mean? And I could salute you on that. You know what I mean? So that's why the positivity is here.
I appreciate that, man.
Positive vibes, you know what I mean? It gotta start with a positive thought. So a positive thought is gonna have positive actions. You understand what I'm saying?
No matter how many obstacles.
No matter if you got a positive thought and you got positive actions, it's always going to be a positive outcome.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's how you got to look at it. All right, even though it's going to be negative shit coming in here and there and there, nigga, if you got the positive vibe, nigga, you could block that shit out.
Yep. Easily. That's it.
Because the people that you're around, y'all on the same accord, y'all going to see that. Get out of here.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
Unified energies.
Woo.
Unified energies, baby.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what it is, man. I'm grateful to be here. You know what I mean? It's Friday night. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, we here, man.
Absolutely.
The Boomer just dropped the pinball joint. We out here,
Make
man.
sure you guys tune in. Listen, Staten Island was the birthplace of hip hop. I don't care what anybody says. Listen, the unification between the projects that happened was just a miracle. So, like I said,
indeed, man.
These people that are in my presence and I continue to network with on a daily basis is a prime positive outlook to look at the way that.
Shout out to the whole water team. Shout out to K, the foundation. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that's like, and he's from Park Hill, but I could see I'm from Stapleton, but at the same time, I see the greatness. Like, you know what I mean? Because real talk, that's how Stapleton and Park Hill came together, through Wu-Tang, man. If Wu-Tang was never existed, Park Hill and Stapleton would still be fighting, my nigga.
Probably the biggest beef around.
Yeah. So
there's some genuine soldiers
shout
around
out to RZA for bringing all that shit together. So now it's like, it's a good vibe, man. You know what I mean?
That just doesn't have to happen there. That can happen anywhere in this world. Like, people, you got to understand. Sometimes you got to use your brain more than you use your fist.
Exactly, man. And that's good. That ain't nothing but God's work, yo.
Absolutely.
For real, man.
It's coming to that point of that podcast where we like to open up and ask, you know what I mean, the guest to elaborate and drop a jewel, the best jewel that they could ever think of that could help lift the viewers in a positive manner. Like I said, because we live in a world of defeat. You know what I mean? We live in the world of setbacks. A lot of people don't know how to pull themselves up from that stuff.
This is what I would say, based upon that question. Ask yourself the question, what's the most thing that you love? What's the most thing that you love?
The most thing that my personal opinion?
Yeah.
The most thing that you should love is yourself. Because if you
I was about to see. That's where I was going.
If you can't love yourself, you can't give that love to anybody else.
Thank you, brother. And that's where I was going, man. That was the question. That was the answer that I was gonna say, and that's the answer I was looking for. You gotta love yourself before you could love anything. Before you love this plant. You know what I mean? Because this plant has life. You know what I mean?
Abundance of life.
That's what I'm trying to say. And like that gives off the shit that we need to breathe.
Yeah.
So that was the point I was trying to make. You gotta love yourself before you can love anything. I don't give a fuck, nigga. Like, yo, if there's a roach in my house, I'm gonna kill a roach in my house. But if the roach was outside and his life where he was living,
so be it.
Let that nigga go. But in the crib, I gotta dead you.
Yeah.
I still love you, my nigga.
That's life, dude.
Not in my crib though. When you in your element, you in your element. But when I'm in my element,
I'm in my element. Don't come in there.
You know what I mean? And that's why I like, boom. Even like, I won't kill like certain shit. Like, you know what I mean? And I tell my kids that shit too, man. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But that's a jewel. I got a lot of jewels, but the jewel is, man, stay focused, be consistent, and love what you do. You know what I mean? Love what you do and be consistent with it. Cause like we're gonna hit a wall. Like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We always like there's like the people that run the laps, right? And there's hurdles. But you can't sometimes like you could get over the first 3 hurdles, but then there's that 4th one that you fuck around and knock down. But at the same time now, that means I gotta do more training. So now, I got to the 4th one. I'm gonna go back, reassess, train harder, boom, 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 and do that whole fucking shit again.
With no
you know what I mean?
flukes.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? And that's what I mean by consistency. You know what I mean? Just to keep at it. Even though you fail, Come on, man. That's why, like, yo, Trial and Error. I want to name one of my albums Trial and Error. I'ma still do it, but come on, the right brothers ain't make the plane in one shot. But look how hard that was.
I said this phrase earlier in 80, you heard me, is like a shovel can be the biggest tool a person has. It can dig the deepest hole that, you know what I mean, you think you're never going to reach the top, or you can use that same shovel and cover that hole back up.
That's a jewel too.
So that's you know what I mean, that's the way I look at things. It doesn't matter. You can create problems, you can solve problems. That's part of life.
My guy Shaq, and that's love. What? Talk to me.
What's your platforms that people can follow you at? And you know what I mean?
Oh, you can find me everywhere. At Trife Diesel.
Okay. Trife Diesel, IG.
No. Matter of fact, stop that. At Trifecta 718 on IG.
Okay.
That's where you can find me at.
Make sure you guys tap in and tune in.
Yeah, Trifecta 718. You know what I mean? And we just got I got a lot of good music, man. I got a lot of good music. You know what I mean?
You ain't got a lot. You got abundance.
Exactly. You know
and
what I
you
mean?
got stuff in the treasure chest.
That's what's coming, man. You know what I mean? Project Pope Part 3. It's in the building. I got the joint with me and Crime Life. Tommy Whispers on deck. It's coming. TMF to the death, nigga. You see that, man. Shout out to the Boomer.
Boom! Yeah, on that note, we out. Thanks for tapping in.
I'm on the run, G. You can never go back the way it was.
Nope. Yeah. You hear that knock? Well, let me in then. Knock these doors down. Yeah. It's the Diesel, never the Weasel. SI's finest. I got you, New York's backbone. Hey yo, this be the fluid, the newest. Nigga, I am the truest from the ruins. With niggas that spray you like clipper coolants. Barbicide, the horror from homicides. The cops where I reside, they plotting on my demise. Nori apologized for throwing shots at the high, but nobody threw a shot back. Send them troopers to Iraq. For years I kept the Allen on my back. They wanna ride the wave, can't even fit in my kayak. They asking can I live, I tell them this where they die at. Give them niggas they flowers, I toss them a bunch of lilacs. There you go. A little slick like Ricky before the iPad. Slick as a can of paint, Benjamin Moore with these fly raps. Afraid to buy black, but we known to sell white. So don't fall for that banana in the tailpipe. I don't care what you do or what you felt like. What you tryna prove or how you move, cause you the jail type. Fuck 5, nigga, y'all should give me 12 mics. Hunt 'em like a mountain lion, lunging on these trail hikes. Nail biting, they nervous, so waiting on a verdict. I'm getting under their skin, all up in their epidermis. A nigga with half the drive without his permit gon' be fighting the one with the license who's undetermined. But that's a rare occurrence. Something like Iron Mike in the B Doug fight when he lost endurance. You fucking with SI's finest, clear out your sinuses. That's my nephew, special, he's what a diamond is. And I'm the scientist, so therefore I